Good morning, everybody out there on this soggy day, but we were blessed with very beautiful weather the last 4 days. So that was a blessing.
Hello. Oh.
What?
No, I heard a ring.
So yeah. So first of all, I wanted to tell the listeners that we have a new feature, which is very exciting.
Wait a minute, I lost you. Say it again, please.
Yeah, we have a new feature on the site, which is very exciting. All of our stories are now audio enabled. So what that means is you can click onto the story, and there's a little arrow, and the story will be read to you. So excuse me. So this is good if you want to listen while you're driving. Or if you're doing stuff around the house or in the kitchen, getting ready for your day. For the visually impaired, you can now listen to our stories rather than read them online. Every story is now audio enabled. So I wanted to.
Whose voice is it?
I don't know. Some guy.
Oh.
A man, not mine. Thank you. Not mine. So it's like a computer program.
How about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually very cool. And just as an aside, we're going to sell sponsorships with the audio. So the people who are interested can contact us about having their businesses sponsor, stories for a week or a month or whatever they're interested in doing. Pretty cool. Anyway, speaking of people who are struggling, we just the few recent stories that we posted, they really show such a and I think this reflects also in how people are doing. I think some people are fine. Their jobs are intact. They haven't taken too much of a hit, and other families have been devastated by this pandemic. I heard over the weekend on a newscast that we have 50 million food insecure families in this country. I mean, I think that's coming on near 20% of the population, which is it's pretty hard to get your head around.
Wow.
I know. It's really shocking. Now, I don't have a stat here, but actually I do have a stat to tell you, which I think is interesting. The business community, too, is very, I think, unevenly affected by this pandemic. And so we see bright spots and we see dark places. The story that we put up this morning, actually last week, but that we're promoting this morning, is we spoke to some local toy stores, and toy stores like Toy Whiz and Toyrific in Pomona, both seem to jive with what the trend seems to be, which is that toy sales have spiked 16% in the first half of 2020. And obviously, we're home. We're home more than we've ever been home. The lockdown had us locked up. But it's not just the lockdown. It seems that the interest in toys, and by toys, we're talking about everything from board games to cards, collectible cards, to and a more recent interest in chess, thanks to the Netflix series called The Queen's Gambit. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It is really terrific. So we spoke to, like I said, Toy Whiz over in Nanuet. They basically they can barely keep up with the demand, and in fact, the manufacturers can barely keep up with the demand. In the first half of 2020, for example, there was for puzzles a 37% growth. So, and followed by, let's see, outdoor sports and toy products up 27%, building sets 14%, arts and crafts 11%. It's interesting because just a few years ago when Toys R Us had left the county and was struggling, there was an overall sense that the toy category was really hurting. And I think, obviously this generation, they're so connected to their cell phones. But the pandemic has had like a weird way of introducing them to the very, I think sense of some of what we consider to be recreational in previous generations, and it's connected the two generations. So there's a bright spot in the economy, and actually there was also a new toy store opened up at the Palisades Center called Lollipop Toys. So that's a bright spot, and particularly as we head into this this dark winter, I think that toy sellers may continue. Now, we spoke to the owner of Toyrific, and he was explaining that. And here's a guy.
Wait, where are they located?
They're located in Pomona.
Okay, I never heard of them before, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, so they were talking about how he said to us. He told us that the Easter Passover season, he said, is the busiest season he's ever had. And what's interesting about that from Yakov Miller is that they only sell like tactile toys, like puzzles and board games and educational and science kits, and he doesn't even do any e-commerce. So when the pandemic struck, he had to do what many retailers have done, which is take orders by the phone, drive around in his car, deliver, curbside pickup, et cetera, et cetera. But he's reporting that he's never been busier. So it's a bright spot, and it's a bright spot that I guess might expect to continue to stay afloat because toys and the holiday seem to be hand in hand. So there you have it, a little bright spot in the economy while we,
But there are plenty of dark spots. I don't mean to,
No, there are plenty of dark spots.
Sound like a stick in the mud, but there are plenty of dark spots. And, we just talked to Marcello, and you could feel his passion when, they don't even know from day to day what's going on in the restaurant industry, that the politicians seem to change at whim what the rules and regulations are for each and every business or house of worship or whatever. And now there's been a ruling in the Supreme Court about how many people houses of worship can handle. It's nobody's on the same, and I shouldn't say nobody, but many, many people are not on the same page about this. And that makes it even more frustrating for the average citizen.
I think that, I know in some European countries and certainly Asian countries, there was a uniform federal response. And I imagine that just must have been easier to know what the rules of engagement were and to look, the virus doesn't know borders, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't. If New Jersey does one thing and New York does another thing, the virus doesn't stay inside the borders. So we have not had a uniform response, and I personally think that we're paying the price for that in terms
Absolutely.
in terms of a prolonged crisis. Could this have been, nipped in the bud more efficiently? I think that it could have. I think I think we did a decent job here in New York. And yet, now the numbers are creeping up again, and it's very unsettling. And, even if you can go out and do certain things, there's the sense that, there's great fear, unless you're 20-something. And, it seems that if we're all just going to sit around and wait for the vaccine, then the estimates are is that we could be looking at 500,000 people dead before we start to distribute the vaccine. That is one hell of a number to get your head around.
I hadn't heard that. I don't know. We heard that. I don't doubt it, but
Well, that's what Fauci and that's what the modeling is showing. They said 470,000 dead by March. Can you get your head? I mean, I can't even get my head around 250,000 people gone. It's
What do you got, a one-man band playing in there?
It's my email is going off this morning. I guess people are waking back up to Monday. Well, anyway, one bright spot, toys. So let's we'll take that, right?
Yep. If I had money in it, I'd invest, but I don't, so I won't. But if you want to read that story in the Rockland County Business Journal or anything else, or have it read to you, that's great. I got to try that. I got to see what I think of it.
All right. It's
RCBiz journal.com.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
All right.
I'll see what that computerized voice sounds like.
It's a nice, male, soothing, very neutral voice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're doing that all over the place. Pretty soon they're going to computerize my voice and Jeff's voice, and you'll think it's us, but we'll be home on the unemployment line.
Yeah, well,
Meanwhile, our voices will be talking on the radio.
Everybody knows you're indispensable.
Yeah, except me. All right. Thank you very much, Tina, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye.